of it. My dad, on the other hand, I think he was kind of that like failed entrepreneur, you know. He still never had like a big break necessarily in entrepreneurship. Eventually, he gave up and went back to the corporate world. Like I think he didn't want his life to be my life.
Yeah, projecting almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense because he tried for X amount of years. Sounds like a lot of years and failed. So he didn't want you to go down that same path. Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. All right, guys, we got Devon Canup here from Colorado, right?
Yeah, well, I've moved 20 times in my life by the time I turned 20, so.
Damn.
Colorado, I feel like, is like the most easy for me to say.
Yeah. 20 by 20.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
All like by choice or like kind of forced?
Well, it was like, I was growing up, it was my parents, and my dad was like one of those guys that he just could never sit still. You know? We weren't military or anything like that. He was just, you know, I think he was always trying to like level up his life. So always moving and trying out new places, and then watching them lose everything with like the recession too and stuff like that. So then they had like all sorts of plans and changes and stuff like that they've always tried to figure out over the years. So
damn, that sounds pretty traumatic. You lost everything?
Traumatic. I would say, I mean, yeah, you could call it that way, but it was like, I would say it's inspiring.
Oh, wow. What a perspective to take on that.
Yeah, because, you know, it's like you see somebody want it so badly, you know, and just see their hopes crushed many times, but they keep like showing up over and over again. Yeah. And I think like something about that, I think like got hardwired into me. It made me the way that I am. And it was just like, I would view it more as a blessing and a gift than it was like, and trauma.
That's true. Cause some people will get hit like that and not recover, but your dad just kept fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And you kind of took that and were like, all right.
Yeah. And seeing a lot of the like characters along the way too, that like, you know, gave that space for them, like somebody to like, for him to have a place to, stand back up on his feet. You know? And I think like seeing all the characters along the pathway that were able to do that as well, that's what was really inspiring for me.
So he had a lot of entrepreneurial friends around?
No, it was little things like it's a little bit touchy for me on one of them is I just went to a funeral for the person this week.
Damn. Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, just people like they would open their homes to us, you know, like just we lose income and just being able to have like somewhere to stay, you know?
Yeah.
Even if 3 months, 6 months, a new place, a new beginning. Or I remember there was this one time we went on, like I was big into like baseball and traveling and competitive sports. And I remember my, you know, like we couldn't, like my parents couldn't afford to go on the trip. Someone gave us like, I don't know how somebody knew, maybe they heard they weren't going. They gave us those like, we came to our car and there was like an envelope there. It had like, they opened it up and there's $500 in there.
Wow.
That $500 probably, you know, maybe it meant something to that, like it was a lot to that person. Maybe it was effortless, you know? And that person that was, maybe it was a little bit more of an effortless action to them was something that like allowed for my family to go.
Yeah, that's crazy. It must have been a teammate, honestly, because...
Yeah, so seeing all those people along the journey, you know, is like, that's the inspiring part. You know? All the little, you know, those little kind of like things that, you know, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal to them, but it made the whole life for my family.
Yeah. Well, I believe in karma, man. So I think you guys were just putting out good energy and getting some of it back.
Yeah, 1,000%.
That's cool, dude. So when did you start making some real money?
So that was quite the intro for our podcast.
I know, right? We got deep.
You just got to go with it sometimes. But yeah, so then when did I start making real money? I guess my first real money, I guess what would I classify it as? I mean, I made like I made like $30,000-$40,000 my sophomore year of college.
That's a lot as a college student.
Yeah, I did it like I just wanted to like make money. Like I just wanted like freedom, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, was for me. So for like where I grew up, it was like to go pro with like playing baseball, you know? And did you ever like try to go pro with like sports?
No, I knew I was never good enough, to be honest. I treated sports as like just fun and exercise. Yeah. I was pretty realistic with myself.
Okay. Yeah. So that was like, you know, especially like that was for us, it was like you had to be this like athlete was like the way out, you know? Yeah. Maybe some communities it's to become like a rapper. Some communities it's to, go pro with basketball or football or sports and stuff. So yeah, it was always I just wanted the money more than like my love for baseball is what it was.
But you were nice though if you were playing college.
Yeah, I got to play Division II.
Okay.
College, I was able to make it.
What position?
I pitched.
Oh.
Yeah, I was left-handed, and that was kind of like if you know anything about baseball, it's like I think it's like 80% of pitchers are right-handed.
Yep.
So to pitch left-handed, you have
slight edge.
Yeah, slight edge.
Yeah. And what was the fastest you've ever pitched?
Yeah, so that was the thing. I wasn't good at like the speed part. I was like maybe 82 or so.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, it's like I guess relatively. It's like I'm comparing to these guys throwing like 96.
Yeah.
And seeing that, it's just like crazy.
I'm sure the average guy can maybe hit 60.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah.
I always go to the carnival ones. I don't know how accurate those are. But.
But yeah, so for me, like my first serious money, it was like I always like was looking for some opportunity to try to find some way of like getting that opening or that opportunity.
Right.
And so for me, it was like I found this. It was like I was watching all these things and all these different ways of making money, and I just always had the mindset instilled from my dad. And for me, it was like at first it was sales. So I did door-to-door sales. Like I was like selling vacuum cleaners in people's houses. And so I saw that, and there was a bunch of people that had that entrepreneurial spirit. So everyone's like, you got to have a side hustle. So I was like, okay, I'll do a side hustle. And so I was like looking up. I was like, okay, what are side hustles? So I remember I looked up a blog. It was like 101 side hustles. And on there, I like went down the entire list up and down multiple times. And then I found there was like I picked 3.
Yeah.
3 of them there.
I've been on that list. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that 101 because everyone was like, you need a side hustle. Yeah. You need like something.
Most of them just don't even make sense. But I remember that list.
And so I picked 3. It was there was like I think flipping cars. That sounded cool to me because I liked cars at the time.
Yeah.
There was I think drop shipping T-shirts. I think like that sounded easy. I was like, okay, flip T-shirt. And then there was real estate wholesaling. So I did like maybe a couple hours into each, like kind of seeing which one. And I decided on the real estate wholesaling. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to do the sales job. And then while I was doing the sales job, I was like, I'm going to do my side hustle. I got to build my thing.
Right. So that's how you made 30 to 40K.
Yeah. So then, I just started doing that and bought a course. I think it was like $5,000. Told my dad. I think he was about to kick me out of the house.
Yeah, those courses were expensive on that topic.
Yeah, like the real estate. Yeah, like they're killing it. Like props to these guys and stuff, like Cody Sperber's and like those guys. But,
was it Cody's course?
I was looking at the one I did. It was like.
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
Can't remember actually. It was this guy Tom Kroll.
I think I've heard of him too.
Yeah, I can't remember. He had this podcast at the time, and I think the podcast just like it.
Inspired
I felt like he felt relatable to me a lot more. So
was there a ROI on the course?
Yeah, I made $8,000 in like a month. I flipped a house in Minnesota at first.
Oh, so you weren't even living in the town you flipped it in?
Yeah, my parents. I moved 20 times. My parents at one point moved to Minnesota.
Oh, okay. I've been there once actually. It's cold.
Yeah, it's different for sure. Yeah, it's cold. The summers are beautiful there.
Yeah, I wasn't there in the summer.
Really? Yeah.
It wasn't my vibe in the winter. I'll try it again in the summer.
So yeah, I did that, and then when I went back to school, like I went there for the summer. I did the sales job in Minnesota for the summer. Flipped a house while I was out there. I was like, oh, okay, I got the proof of concept down. Did it over while I was in school, while I was in baseball, while I was in classes. I would take like calls of like these prospects that would call in to like want to sell their house, and I'd flip it. And so I just went and so I flipped. I think it was like 5 houses or 6 houses while I was in college.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then from there, is that when you got into the Faceless YouTube channels?
Yeah. So then that translated to, I was like, okay, this is cool. I was having a tough time being consistent with real estate because it's like, they're more high ticket. So like I make $20,000 in a month, wouldn't see anything for like 6 months and stuff. So I was trying to close that gap of consistency.
Yep.
And I was a beginner in business. So it was like, you needed to be a businessman, I feel like, to kind of like build that. But I had the skill of like the gift of gab and like sales. And so I used that skill set. And so, but then I saw a lot of the guys that I learned from, these courses we were talking about, they're expensive. I was like, all these guys are selling a course, and or like they all had YouTube. It was like they were all like that's how they were really like making a lot of their money. So I was like, okay, I need to do YouTube. And so I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about the real estate deals that I was doing. And so I did a video every single day on YouTube for it was like a year, and I got to where I was making a couple grand a month. It wasn't, I wasn't like rich or anything like that, but at the time, it was enough. I started making a couple grand, called my parents up, told them I dropped out of college. I was like, I'm going to make this work somehow. I don't know how.
After a couple grand a month, you dropped out?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty early.
Yeah.
I waited till I had 100K in revenue, probably like 20K profit.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. But that might have been too late. It's all relative.
How old were you when you dropped out of college?
I was sophomore in college. So what is that, 20?
Yeah, I was finished my sophomore year, and then it was that summer. That's when I dropped out.
Yeah, so about the same time.
What did your parents think about that when you did that?
So my mom was pissed, obviously. She's Asian, and so from her point of view, like, she used education to get out of poverty.
Right.
So I get it now looking back at it, but at the time we used to fight about it all the time because
my girlfriend, we just went through that together last year. So
yeah,
I feel
like she cared a lot about it.
She's Latina, you know.
Oh yeah,
Mexico,
and that's how they escaped.
She's first immigrant, you know, with them.
Right. So for immigrants, it's like important to get good grades and everything.
Yeah. So for that, yeah, and like college is like, you know, sports for the average white dude that grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
Like that. So it's like immigrant families. It's like you become a doctor or, you know, a therapist or something, you know, like a lawyer or something like that, like something of status in those cultures, you know.
Yeah, but your parents took it rough. You said
they took it rough.
Like your parents took you dropping out pretty rough.
Yeah, my mom was one that she was just like, she was that person in my life that told me I was special. You know, I feel like everybody has that person in their life, and for me, that was my mom. She always told me you're like. She'd just grown up. She's like, you're special. You're going to do something, you know?
That's cool.
And I feel like anybody that has success, they had somebody, you know, like in their life tell them that you're worth something, you know? So for me, it was my mom. So my mom, she was like supportive of it. My dad, on the other hand, I think he was kind of that like failed entrepreneur, you know? He still never had like a big break necessarily in entrepreneurship. Eventually he gave up and went back to the corporate world, you know? I say give up. He's doing great now, but, you know, it was definitely had his dreams stomped and crushed,
right,
and couldn't progress anymore. And then so I think he was afraid of me doing the same exact thing.
PTSD.
So him, it was like a big deal for sure.
Yeah,
was like for him to see me, like I think he didn't want his life to be my life.
Yeah,
you know?
Projecting almost.
Yeah,
that makes sense because he tried for X amount of years. Sounds like a lot of years and failed. So he didn't want you to go down that same path.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah, but you were able to make it work, man. So when you dropped out, you're doing 1 to 2K a month, and it's scaled a lot since, right?
Yeah, I had a couple of real estate deals I was still going through. So it was like the YouTube was a consistent, like that was the income. I knew with like sales and real estate that I would always like find a way to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, got it to where, and then after a few more months, I got it to like $3-4 grand a month.
Nice.
So that was, and it was, you know, YouTube, it's like pure profit as long as you don't have any production costs. So
what's it at now? It's at $3 to $4 grand a month now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I make $3-4 grand a month now, and no. no. Yeah, and then I came across, so I was like freaking grinding. I know it's like you're on here. It's like, dude, if something happens to you, like God bless, you know, knock on wood, like hope that doesn't happen. But you know, if you can't show up, there's no digital social hour anymore.
Right.
So I came to the realization of that you know, it's like you can make money with YouTube, and a lot of these YouTubers, they crush it. There's so much, you know, we live in a day and age where attention is the new oil. It's the new economy. Where it's like the person with the most amount of attention is the person that makes the most amount of money. And if you can capture eyeballs, then you can convert those into sales with advertisements and stuff like that. And so I came to the realization, though, I was working my ass off. Like I would stay up till midnight just to try to get these videos out every single day. And if I didn't get a video out, then it wasn't growing, you know, and I wasn't able to generate an income. There is some evergreen ability with these platforms. You know, you probably uploaded a podcast 6 months ago that's like...
Yeah, some of them pop off late, but not usually.
Yeah, but it's like the volume of it's probably, you know, it depends on the channel and the niche that you're in, but typically it's like 80% of it's new content, 20% of it's probably like old content.
Yeah, agreed.
So you got to kind of, you're on the freaking dance monkey, like conveyor belt of like content, you know? I feel bad for all these. Like,
I got to drop daily.
Yeah, like all these influencers these days that are becoming like TikTokers or whatever the hell it is these days, you know, like they may be able to make it work, but now they're on this like train and inevitably until either they fall apart or unless they can figure out how to build a business around it.
And you see that burnout with creators, right?
Yeah. So that's what I saw. Like I started to get that. This was in like 2018, you know. I'm actually happy there's not short form content because short form content, it's pain in the try to even make money on it unless you know how to do business.
Yeah.
But so I was able to do longer form content, so it was like a little bit more consistent, like income wise. And then, so I came across there's, you know, I started seeing all these YouTube channels blowing up that were long format, and they were just like no brand behind it, you know? But they started up like a few months ago, and I was watching the videos, and I was like, these people are making 20, 30 grand a month, and they're not that hard to make. Like, I sucked at video editing and production and stuff like that, and like I just had the basics. And I was like, I can make those. So I saw these videos, and I was like, they're not that complicated, you know? So then one day, like, and I saw behind the scenes, like, you know, you could look at Social Blade or those softwares, and I saw that they were making a good amount of money. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this every day for a month. I always do that. I do, like, when I started my YouTube channel or when I did wholesaling, I was like, I'm going to do this every day for, I think it was 90 days. Yeah. Or I'll pick between 30 and 90 sometimes in my life. But I did, and then when I started my YouTube channel, I was like, I'm going to do this for 60 days, my personal brand. And after 60 days, I think I hit 1,000 subscribers or something like that. I got monetized. And I was like, hell yeah. And so with this Faceless YouTube channel, I did the same thing. I was like, I'm going to give myself 30 days. I'm going to do this every single day, you know, and I'm going to do it every day for 30 days. I like to riff off of things that are like where the energy is at. But I will say, like, that's where things are heading with everything. Content is like realness, you know, the AI, technology, all this stuff, especially like all of the like things going on in the world with like people having to cough a lot and stuff, you know. That's like, it's just people crave that like intimacy with people and stuff. So I think like realness these days is like, I think awareness is the currency, but then secondarily it's like that realness of behind the scenes.
I like that. Yeah, sure. The celebrities of the past are no longer attractive.
Yeah. You ever watch like a 2000s movie?
Yeah,
or like
I do,
90s?
Actually.
It's like,
that's all I watch because I don't trust the modern movies.
I can't watch modern movies either.
It's
myself.
Like brainwashing.
But yeah, you see them and it's like, dude, like you watch it now, it's like Botox and like all this, like all these things to, you know, make people more attractive. But yeah, that's crazy. I've been watching a lot of 90s movies. They're really good. But the story we were talking about before this is I was saying like my first big break, right? Like my first I was making $3 to $4 grand a month. I dropped out of college, and what happened was then I found these things called Faceless YouTube channels. Basically, I found these YouTube channels, I was scrolling on YouTube one day and I was watching these videos and I was like, huh, okay, let me watch this video. I started watching it and it was like this basic content. It was like telling stories, you know, from Reddit specifically at the time, you know, and it was like telling these stories and it was just like, I was just like, this content's lame. They had a text-to-speech voice. It was nothing like the AI voices that we have these days. Yep. You know, these days you can make it sound like, you know, Morgan Freeman's talking and it sounds like realistic. These days, back in the day, it was like r/ask Reddit. How many times have you had to call your boss in sick and what was the craziest story? You know, it was like,
I used to watch those.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't even know how people stood listening to them after.
Because the stories were good, but the voice was just cringe.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about how like social media and content works. If it's a good idea, you know, if you have a video of Taylor Swift punching a baby, like how many views would that thing get?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, like billion views overnight. It would be crazy. But anyway, so with this channel, I started uploading videos, and I saw like these channels that were doing it, and it wasn't anything like that crazy. And I was like, I can make those videos. So I decided for 30 days I was gonna go and upload. I was gonna go and upload a video every single day, and I was gonna try to figure out see if I can make this work. And so day one, I decided I spent 12 hours, 16 hours making this first video. You know, the videos were easy to make, but I was having to like try to understand the basics and all this stuff. And I got the video done and I uploaded it and I got 5 views. And most people, they would look at that and they would just be like, oh, you know, it's like you put 12 hours in and you got 5 views. That was a waste of time. You know, the way I view social media and beginnings of new things is that it's a start, you know?
Yep.
You can't turn the car in the right direction if you don't have it on and drive, you know? If you're not moving, you can turn the steering wheel all that you want and you're not going to ever get anywhere.
True.
So I always view it as whenever I start something as long as I'm like making progress first. So I upload a video and I have this mindset. I upload a video, got 5 views. Cool. Progress. Next day, I upload a video. Instead of it taking 12 to 14 hours to make that video, it took me 6 hours. And after 6 hours, I upload the video. I think I got like 20 views or something like that. And I think maybe 10 of those were myself watching, you know? And then after that, I started doing it every single day. And I think after like day 10, I hit 1,000 views in a day. 1,000 views in a day on my previous YouTube channel where I was talking about real estate, it took me about I think around 100 videos before I hit in 100 days or so, like 3 months, 4 months, to get to 1,000 views a day. I think that was the highest I hit actually at that point. After a year, it was like 30,000 views a month or 50,000 views a month. So I was basically already on pace after after 10 days. And then the next day, it was like 10,000 views, which RPMs, like how the math works out, how YouTube pays you. That was about $40. I made $40 a day off of something I just started not even 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
The next day I go and check it after continuously uploading a video every single day. I look at it and I got 30,000 views. I wasn't monetized yet, so I wasn't making money yet. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time.
Yep.
But I was on my way. I think I had 800 subscribers. I woke up, I looked at it, I was like, whoa. I had 30,000 views in a day, which is $120 is what kind of how the math counts out. The next day, I had 100,000 views. It's $400 in a single day of videos that I just started making like a couple weeks ago. And then I was able to, I applied for monetization. I was able to get approved. So I hadn't made any money yet. You don't get paid on the back uploads, but I had the momentum. I had, things moving.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I looked at it and I had 300,000 views, which is $1,200 a day. And the next day, I hit 1 million views in a day. And then the next day, it was like day 14, day 15, I hit 1.4 million views in a single day. So if you do the math, it was, all over like $4,000 or $5,000 a day.
Solid.
And that's how much I was making a month at that point off of YouTube, of being one of those, dance monkey influencer creators, like trying to upload every single day. I was able to do that in 2 weeks. I didn't have any of the embarrassment of when I started it out because no one knew who I was. I was behind a screen, like no one knew who I was. My voice wasn't in it.
Right.
And if I wanted to, if I could just get someone else to make the videos for me, I could go to like Bali, Indonesia for a month, 2 months, 3 months, not edit videos as long as I had someone else doing it. And I could still be making money because it didn't require me to be there.
Yeah.
And actually, that's what I did. I actually got it to where I was doing $40,000 a month within a couple months.
Dang, not quick.
Yeah, it was like 3 months. I had to maintain the momentum, so I got it back to where I was making. I made $45,000 in a month after 3 months of starting this channel, and I went to Bali. I just met some people that I've known online. They were like, I knew them for maybe like in person like a week or two. They're like, hey, we're going to Bali, and I was like, they were like, do you want to come with me? I said, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
That's the power of location freedom when you have a business like that.
Yeah. So I just went out there and I hung out with monkeys and
did you get Bali belly?
I did not.
Wow.
They've been to Bali before. So they knew,
okay.
They warned me about it. They're like, don't drink the water there.
Nice. Most people get it, man. So congrats.
Yeah, they had it last time. So I got to, you get to stand on the shoulders.
They were the test dummies for you.
Yeah.
How accurate are those Social Blade revenue numbers?
Yeah, that's a question I get all the time. So, and I had this freaking fantastic answer for you guys watching. Sean doesn't edit this. But no, this is like a great question. So, most people, so the thing with how Social Blade was started was they created this, they've had the software out for a long time. So those numbers that they show on Social Blade were from like 6 years ago. It says on there, it's like the range that they do if you hover over it, like when it shows the dollar amount, it's a big range. It'll show a YouTube channel makes anywhere from like $5 to like 50 grand a month. It like doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of an over exaggeration, but it's like there's a big range. It's hard to tell how much a channel makes. But those numbers, 25 cents to $4, 25 cents is pretty typical of like a music channel. But most channels these days actually make way more than $4 per 1,000 views if you know what you're doing on YouTube. And so with that being said, like, most channels that I run are like, as long as it's like it's a concept, like you're talking about a concept or showing something, it's not just music and like meditation videos. As long as it's not that, and there's actual like value in the content, there's actual like substance, and it's like a made for an American audience, or like America, Western Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, like those audiences, like typically most channels are making like $4 to $10 per 1,000 views. And so that thing's actually undervaluing a lot of channels on YouTube.
That's interesting. I thought it was the other way around, honestly.
Yeah.
That's cool. Imagine getting an ad on a meditation video.
Yeah, you can't even run it. Like, you're just like in the middle, like, or not praying, but like you're in the middle of like your meditation. And all of a sudden, it's like
an ad. Yeah. I listen to those. I do the Wim Hof one every morning.
That one's pretty good,
and it has like 80 million views. I think there's pre-roll ads on it.
Pre-roll is fine. Yeah. I use the app. The app's pretty cool.
Which app?
He has a Wim Hof.
Oh,
app.
he does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have it, but I think it's paid. I think I did like the 5 free
Yeah.
ones and then didn't want to pay
I
for
forget
it.
about how much those. Yeah.
I use an app called, what's it called? It tracks all your monthly apps. I forget what it's called.
Oh, like how much you pay for everything?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, we gotta like.
It's
brand deals
absurd.
for these things or something.
No, it's
like
literally
that with
absurd. It's like in the thousands. You don't even realize.
Yeah, I looked at how much you paid in software last month. It was like 15 grand. I'm like, dude, what the hell? What the hell?
15 just in software? What do you use? Go high level and stuff?
No, we don't use that. We use the fancy one, HubSpot.
Ooh, HubSpot's that much?
Yeah, it's like 5, like 4.
Damn, they're a sponsor of the show. Shout out to HubSpot.
Are they actually?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
A bunch of their podcasts pay to come on the show. It's like cross platform
That makes
promotion.
sense. Oh,
Yeah, they're growing their podcast network. What do you think about podcast network? Is that something you'd ever start?
podcast network.
Like just a podcast in general?
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity. I've thought about it. I feel like anything I do, it's like go all in on.
Yeah.
And that's something you have, like, I would have to really have like a 5-10 year vision personally if I were to do like a podcast. I don't know. That's how my mind works with one of those. I feel like I would have to, like, I don't know. I feel like
I mean, that's how you have to think with it for sure.
yeah, you like something like a podcast, you know?
Yeah, it's a full-time thing.
That's why I like Faceless YouTube channels is like, you could be like not interested in the at all anymore and you can still make money off of it and like not care.
Do you
know?
post videos that you know nothing about?
Yeah, dude. We have like history channels, travel channels, you know, space, like different stuff like that. And I'm like, it's cool. I like learning that stuff, but like to consistently like talk about like, you know, like what happened in ancient Egypt is not like, my
I've probably
passion
seen some of those, to be honest.
Yeah, like or what happened.
I fall asleep to those ancient documentaries.
Yeah, they're cool, and I love learning these things and kind of bringing these concepts with me. And I like I'm interested in it enough that I'm like, oh, this is cool, and I know how to make it cool and interesting. But it's like not enough to where I'm like, I could see myself doing it every single day and making that my entire life.
Yeah. You know? How expensive is it making a video?
The market's kind of inflated a lot lately. I would say like a few years ago, it was pretty easy to just hire somebody and there was just no one knew what things were worth.
Right.
But I think now with like Upwork and Fiverr and sites like that, they're just, dude, they run like Super Bowl ads and stuff like that. Or like,
what?
Maybe not. Like I see them like when I was at like a restaurant, there was a sports game on and like they're running like big advertisements and stuff. So the gig economy and like people working remote is like a big movement right now for sure. But yeah, it's just like even these people in India, dude, they used to be like, let's say $20 a video. And there's some pretty quality work you can get out of India, you know? Mm-hmm. Like especially like Eastern Europe for like editing. Like there's some good editors you can get from Eastern Europe. Yeah. They used to be pretty cheap, but now it's like, you know, you pay like $200 for like a video for some people.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I typically, you know, I recommend paying for a video, you're getting started, $80 on the low end. If you're doing that, you're probably going to have to be a little bit more involved or just have really good ideas. We're talking about the text-to-speech voices. Yeah. The voices sucked, but the ideas were good. So if you have good ideas, it doesn't matter how good the quality of the content is, they can still go viral. Yeah. So you can do, I've seen people make 10 grand a month with $80 videos. Typically, you know, $100 to $200 is a pretty normal range.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ways. Well, now you can actually get it way down. That's if you hire people. You can always get it down with like 11 Labs or that's like an AI text-to-speech voice thing or like, you know, you can use Midjourney to make some pretty cool images or like OpenAI. Yeah. ChatGPT is pretty good at like writing scripts now these days. It's not like really just write the script on, you know, what happened to the Nazis after World War II and it just spits out this like.
You got to prompt it a bit.
Yeah, it's more of a tool.
Yeah.
It's more of just like helps with like, okay, let's structure like the structuring of getting the thing down and then in probably like 10%, 20% quality control. Yeah. It's gotten pretty good these days.
No, for real. There's some really cool AI these days, man. Yeah. There's one on Dropbox now. Dude, Dropbox summarizes all my podcast episodes for me now.
Really?
Yeah. So it'll take the whole episode and just give me like a 3-paragraph summary.
Yeah. I know like Zoom does that and there's like some
it's nuts. And I use AI to study my guests now too.
Really?
Yeah. So I did it on you and like I went through some of your interviews and like it'll just summarize the videos.
Interesting.
It's pretty insane, man.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I use it pretty frequently now these days. It's
daily.
Like, yeah. Like in some way, shape, or form. Like if I'm writing, you know, like if I still like do write video scripts and stuff sometimes just to kind of.
I use it to travel now.
Really?
Yeah. So if I'm going to like say San Francisco for 3 days, there's this site, I forget what it's called, but you You tell it what you like what type of cuisine, what type of activities, and it'll plan your restaurants.
No way.
Your excursions.
So the issue I had, to kind of go on this tangent a little bit is like, I always look it up on Google and it's like it's always affiliate,
Yeah,
these
no,
days.
this
I
one
can't
isn't.
trust Google anymore. Like
This
to
one
look
is
anything
not.
up. So this is purely, it's just like it's able to get like
Yeah, it just
good
shows
quality
you
data
the
points on it.
website of the venue, the website of the restaurant. I mean, they probably have affiliate built in, but it's still pulling your interests into the software.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the one thing I don't like about Google anymore. Is it's just like
I don't
it's too
trust.
monetized.
Those top 10 lists are all BS.
Yeah, that part. Yeah,
I don't trust those anymore.
yeah. And that's the value of like making videos these days and educational content. 'Cause
Yep.
then you're able to like get like, where do you learn all of your stuff majority of the time?
It's tough. Yeah. I do podcasts. I don't do news outlets anymore.
Yeah, news. Yeah, so it's like YouTube's like one of them. I know it's getting suppressed a little bit, but
Yeah. YouTube's a good one for the most part. Some people are paid off on YouTube.
yeah, there is that. But yeah, it's like there's still like good actual information, like actual content.
Yeah.
It is also moving more documentary, I would say, on YouTube too.
Yeah. I noticed that too. Logan Paul just dropped his on YouTube.
Oh, did it? Yeah, everything like video, like things to like video game documentaries, to like documentaries on people.
Yeah.
and-
The Drake Bell one I just saw on YouTube.
yeah. I think it's like there's I think YouTube has like 56% of all streaming eyeballs on their
Wow.
platform.
Live streaming.
No, just like streaming, in video streaming.
Oh,
streaming.
okay.
So it's like 56% of like the online content that's like long form is being watched through YouTube.
That's insane.
So they really have to compete with like, they're trying to keep eyeballs on from all platforms pretty much onto them,
Feel that. Devin, where can people learn about how to set up a Faceless YouTube channel, man?
Where can they learn? I would say go to, just check me out on Twitter, Devon CNP. Just look up Devon Canup. And then, I have some trainings out there.
Cool.
You'll find them if you follow me. I have like some content there and that like have a bunch of stuff I give away. And then also have a couple channels, like just look up Devon Canup on YouTube and Twitter and you'll find a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we'll link it below. Anything else you want to close off with or promote, man?
No, dude, thanks for having me on. Dude, you're killing it. I love seeing people win, and I just, I think this world's such a weird place that it's like so easy to get sucked into, it's all ending and stuff. But it's like, if you look for it, there's so many people that are killing it. And I love seeing people kill it and crush it. And you're one of those people that's just like, I hope you just keep going on the up and up, man.
You too, man. Thank you so much.
Not
Appreciate
that I
it.
hope, but I know you will. Keep it up.
Thanks for coming on, dude. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out the links below. Otherwise, see you tomorrow.